It's Bruce Ferris here. It is the 31st of January, 2022, first market analysis video of the year. Let's go ahead and take a look at the overall market, what it's doing currently, and what it has done recently, and kind of take a look at some different areas. Now, what I do here is I take a look at, on a very granular level, I'm looking at everything from about 150th or so on the north end, all the way down well past Othello. Here's Pritchard Beach right there, so I'm picking up to the south end of Pritchard Beach. That's the overall market that I'll be taking a look at. And then a little bit more granularly, I look at an area that I like to jokingly call the canary in the coal mine. Whatever this area is doing pretty much influences all the rest of the in-city Seattle areas and actually outlying areas as well. I avoid things like the Magnolia and the Windermere and the Laurelhurst and the hot end of Madison Park and so on. Because this really here, if I'm looking at typical 3-bedroom, 1.75 bath to 2 bath homes that are not new construction, I'm going to get a pretty good feel for what's happening to the statistics for getting into the marketplace. And given that this seems to be, over the course of time, has always been the most in demand area for a particular type of buyer, I have to be careful what I say because I cannot violate fair housing rules here, but that's what we'll call this. This is the area that a lot of people try to get into. And here's another area. I'm looking also at this central area from I-5 over to the waterfront and about down to about I-90. And then I'm also taking a look at the I-90 corridor over to I-5 heading down south to about Kubota Gardens. And then finally, I like to take a check on West Seattle to see what it's doing as well. So with that, let's do that. Let's look at the statistics. Now, I've got some cool stats here. This is from the MLS, and it's a specific set of searches that I've set up that I've saved, and I watch this on a weekly basis, if not more. I'm able to look at the sales price historically. I'm able to look at percentage of sales price, price per square foot, how many pending sales, and what's the percent of original price to sales price ratios, and the days on market. So let's start with days on market. And I'm going to speak mostly of the canary in the coal mine, and then we can see the other ones. So if I recall here, our canary is the green. So that's what we're going to be looking at. Here is 0 to 5 days on market. These are days on market. Here's 10 days on market, 15 days on market, 20 days on market. So historically, starting all the way back in 26, you can see everything's kind of hanging out right in this middle section here, mostly between 5 and 10 days on market. And then when we hit 2018, and we'll see this in another graphic here when we take a look at what happened to the sales prices. It's right here, June, July of 2018, that we had a market correction. So while the prices all of a sudden drop, our days on market jumps from under 10 days on market to, let's look at the 4 different sections here. For the central area, it was 25 days on market. For Seattle south of I-90, it was 16 days on market. For that canary in the coal mine, it was a whopping 18 days on market. So even though that's a rather graphic, a drastic looking graphic, we're really only talking 7 days to about 15 to 20 days on average. There's 25 days for that, the central Montlake, Madison Park, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But then it dropped down fairly quickly. Look at this, 2019 January. So things go up from starting in May and June. We hit the crest January and kaboom, it drops right back down into that regular market. We had another correction take place here where the market said we're going to slow it down a little bit. Right here in November 2019, gets back down well under 10 days on market, stays down below 5 days, essentially, or actually below 7 days. Another little crest, and then pretty much hanging down there. So let's go look at price per square foot and get a feel on that. So in that time frame, in the 5-year time frame here, again, canary in the coal mine at the green, $345 per square foot. Top into that at this point, $535, $345 to $535, basically $190 per square foot differential in that time frame. Here is that moment in time in the April, May, June, July of 2018 where the market said, no, we're not going to do this. And the area south of I-90 typically takes a harder hit. So south of I-90 goes from 433 all the way down to 342, almost $90 per square foot. Takes a hit there and makes its way back up. So the south end went from 275, I'm going to call it. I always round to 466. 275 to 466. What is that, 190 roughly? So you can see pretty much everything's kind of following the same curves here. Let's go take a look now at sales price and do the same thing here. Back in that time frame, canary in the coal mine at $655 per square foot, 655,000. There you go. And at this point in time, looking at 1,020,000. Holy smokes, 655 to 1,020,000. That's pretty amazing. And here is that drop right there. There it is, the August 2018 market correction. You see it in all four of them coming down. Central area got hit pretty hard. Seattle overall, Seattle Central Capital took a fairly hard hit as well, but it rebounded quite nicely. And right here, February 2021, and let's take a look where COVID is on this graph. We've got January of 2020 coming up. March, that is the moment, I think it was March 26th, when real estate basically was declared non-essential, and all showings stopped at that moment for a brief amount of time. We start seeing the prices drop in the Seattle Central. We see, however, the canary in the coal mine right here from January 2020 goes from 795 up to 891. Holy smokes, right? In August of 2020. And then we see another rise here take place. February of 2021, we're at 885 for the canary in the coal mine, right? 875, 885, right in there. And this thing bumps up to 1,020,000. And it's been right in that little trough right there, 1,020,000 down to 1 million, up and down 20 grand. That's not very much. Same kind of thing here for the Seattle overall. It's up in the 995 range here at the crest of that, and then back down to 985. So it's within a 20 grand range on that. So that's our local thing. Now, homes for sale, that's what's really one of the things that's really driving everything. So let's take a look at when those homes for sale were on market and what happened here. So we had a healthy inventory for a January overall in 54 overall. In 2016, our crest of the volume, 125, drops back down to 54 again, 101, calls all the way up to 241. This is then right here, this is the market correction taking place. So we're going to see more listings on market as a result of less listings being taken off market. October 2018, 241, brings it back down. February 2019, but goes back up to there, and then boom, big drop downward into 54. So if you're under 100 listings for all of this area, right here, that's a low inventory situation. And we're seeing the same thing for canary in the coal mine here. We're looking at 8. And at top of market there in 2016, they had 30 listings at any given time. And then finally 57, 63, and then it drops back down to a low of 14 and doesn't get above 37 listings at all at any point from that point on in time, which is August of 2020. And so here we are now, December 2021. That's looking backwards, and they were down to 13 listings. So we looked at sales price. Let's look at percent of original price. Percent of list price here. And this tells a big story as well. We see the different hikes. And so 2016, beginning of that, I can't get my mouse over to it, but if you look at the right-hand side of that little rectangle box there, 101.5%, 105%, 101. So the canary in the coal mine was at 105% sale price list price ratio. Something lists as 100,000, sells at 105,000, right? We bump up to here, 108, 109%. We drop back down to just over 100%. Most of it, it's kind of at par. And then January, we pump up to the May, June, and we're at 113, 114%. Comes back down again typical for the end of the year, and then kaboom, back up there again at 100, almost 112% for canary in the coal mine. Central area is up at 115%. Overall, Seattle is at 109%, which is extraordinary. And then this is that market correction I spoke of in late 2018, June, July, August, September, and kaboom, it drops down basically back down to par, and even dips below, goes down into the 98 range. Sale price list price ratio. We're moving along. We're moving along. Does the same thing here just after December, and then it bumps back up, and then a little bit of a dip here, January 2021. Now, this is historically COVID right here. And this is what took place. And nobody saw this coming. This crazy escalation in demand and a maximum deficit in terms of inventory, online inventory. So we go from basically par, 100%. And at crest of that, we're back up at 109%. And that's in the course of February, March, April, and May, right? 4 months, we bump right up. That's how fast the market can turn. And then it gets a little bit calmed down at the 104% range roughly. And that's where we are. So let's take a look now. Let's just bring this into a 1 year and look at a 1 month data point. Let's go to 3 months, probably a little bit more. There you go. A little bit easier to digest. So since January of 2020, let me bring my mouse up above here. April, May, where's March? March, right there. So that's COVID, that's the shutdown. And in terms of the price per square footage, we were really starting to crest, but then it kind of comes back down a little bit. Excuse me, I'm sorry, we're talking 2020. Here is the COVID bump. There we go. I'm reading the stats and not thinking. I should have been thinking. My apologies. June, May, 107, 109%. There you go. And that's what we're looking at. So what's our price per square foot in those situations? Our top end, which is the central area, gets as high as $600 per square foot, roughly. Our top end for the canary in the coal mine, the central north area, is at $539. Overall, Seattle's at around $510, roughly $509. And even the south end, which is traditionally lagging behind, is at $472 per square foot. So that's kind of where things are at. And if I look at right now the market watch that I do that's real specific to just this last week, looking at residential listings that, again, in that same area, 145th in the north, Othello on the south coming down. We're looking at 62 new listings that have come on market that are residential, not condominium. And this is anything, it doesn't matter whether the bedrooms or bathroom configurations, price, etc. Just want to know what the volume is coming on market. So 62 new listings in the last week, and 123 went into pending status at the exact same time. And if you've been through a transaction, you know what that means. Those are the properties that were put into contract by a buyer that wrote an offer on them. So twice as many properties got taken off market in that 7-day time period as came on market in that 7-day time period. And that is what is driving this whole crazy banana. All right, so that's it. January 31st. Let's see how we're doing here time-wise. Let's open this back up. You probably can't see this, but I can, and that shows me, no, it doesn't show me how many minutes. All right, well, that's it. It's Bruce Ferris, and it's the 31st of January. I've probably said that too many times. My first market analysis of the year, so I'm stumbling around a little bit, but I think that gives a pretty good idea, and we will take it forward from there. Hope you're doing great. Don't hesitate to reach out and ask any questions. Be well, be safe. Take care. Bye-bye.